Hey, what's up? My name's Em, and you are listening to Breaking the Biz podcast.
Breaking the biz. Breaking the biz. Breaking the biz.
Stay tuned for today's episode of Breaking the Biz, an informative podcast where we dive into the world of entertainment by interviewing seasoned professionals who have made their mark in the industry. Gain invaluable insights as they share their personal journeys, offering advice on navigating the dynamic landscape of the entertainment industry. Whether you're an aspiring actor, musician, filmmaker, author, animator, or any creative soul, tune in for expert career guidance, insider tips, and first-hand accounts on breaking into the entertainment industry. Get ready to unlock the secrets behind successful careers and fuel your own passion for the limelight. Please remember to like this video and to subscribe to our channels for more great conversations.
Greetings from Breaking the Biz, brought to you by Yes I Can Unity Through Music and Education. I'm William Felber, your navigator through the intriguing universe of the entertainment industry, as revealed by the visionaries and creators who bring it to life. Stay tuned as we delve into diverse insights from the forefront of entertainment, hearing from pioneers, creators, and agents of change. Prepare for a journey filled with tales of innovation, resilience, and the undying quest for artistic brilliance.
We have a great guest with us. We have Emma, who also goes as EMM, Emma Norris, an American alternative pop singer, songwriter, producer, and content creator from Michigan, based now in Los Angeles. One of the first women to release the full-length album, Burning in the Dark, which she created in its entirety from start to finish, including writing, producing, performing, mixing, and mastering. Curve magazine described Em, saying she is the definition of a thriving, independent artist, calling all the shots in her own career, making her vision come to life, having a hand in every sonic choice and every melody you hear, betting on yourself, and standing up for what she believes in most. Impossible to control, impossible to contain. Em is a force. Additionally, she was featured in USA Today and Business Wire for her involvement in the social media app Flipagram to do it correctly. Em, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight.
I'm happy to be here.
So I would love to just give those that are going to be joining us a visual of what you are all about. So let me share that, and then we're going to jump into our discussion here.
Sounds good.
All right.
If they don't want you, it's their loss. And if they don't give you a seat at the table, then build your own. Don't you know who you are?
My job as an artist is to have the balls to say the thing that no one else is willing to say. My job is to master the craft, to build the vision, and then to make sure that it sees the light of day. So far, I think I've done a pretty fucking good job for doing it all by myself, but anyone that's paying attention knows that I'm not slowing down for anything or anyone. Because I'm the type of bitch that moves at 14 years old to New York City from a town of 14,000 people, makes her way to Los Angeles, sleeps with the cockroaches, builds a network of people, and then closes brand deals for millions of dollars so that I can funnel it into my music to make the shit that I need to make, because when I need to make something, it's going to get made. 4 mixtapes, 2 albums, an incredible show, an incredible filmed live show, a documentary, and a film. Done. And that's just the stuff I can tell you about. My job is to remind women how incredibly fucking powerful they are. My job is to remind them not to shrink. And my job is to remind them to set their goals as big and ambitiously as they want without fearing being too much or not enough. My job is to be the living representation of not giving a fuck. Not giving a fuck who tries to stop you, not giving a fuck who tries to shrink you, not giving a fuck who tries to tell you no. Because our dreams are our decision and our reality is something we create. And if that means that I'm gonna perform covered in black goo, butt naked, or shave off all of my hair, perform in a casket full of live bugs, if I have to be the one to bring up the awkward conversation or say the thing that no one wants to fucking hear, I'll be the one to say it. Because it's my job to be brave, to remind her that she can be brave. And it's my job to be strong, to remind her that she can be strong. And it's my job to be vulnerable, to remind her that she can be vulnerable. It's my job to be the outrageous living expression of fuck the patriarchy.
Now I'm so much greater. What's the plan in my prime?
So I think that is a great way for everyone to see exactly who we are talking to tonight. And if you were blessed enough to come to the Good Karma Fest, you of course got to see Em on stage and just absolutely kill it. So I'm so excited again to have you here. I want to talk, when you were a young girl, what did you want to manifest as your dream job?
Exactly what I'm doing, obviously at the highest level that I possibly can. But yeah, this has always been my goal.
I love it. Awesome. So when did you fall in love with music?
My parents are both musicians, so my mom's a harpist, my dad's an opera singer, and I grew up around incredible musicians. That's their full-time job. So I had access to a lot of amazing musicians growing up, and it was always there was nothing else for me that was interesting. But I started piano lessons when I was only 6 and immediately started writing songs. So it's just very innate. I don't know. I've never wanted to do anything else.
And then it mentions in that video, therapeutic. Every song is for a therapeutic purpose. Were you writing those songs that early on to get out all of the frustration and everything very early on?
Yeah, I had a lot of big feelings and a lot of rough experiences as a child. So I think that was my way of healing.
Love it. Talk me through education. What was your route as far as education goes?
I was homeschooled for my childhood, and then I went to public school for a little while. I was in a very intense private school that was very conservative for a little while. And then I ended up going to New York City when I was 15. So I didn't finish school. I finished online. Um, my father teaches at this school called Interlochen Center for the Arts, where he's was the head of the voice department. He actually just retired, but he was there for like 30 years, and they created a program for singer-songwriters that was originally intended for me. But I couldn't go because I had already gone to New York by the time the program was ready. But like Chapel Roan ended up going. A lot of great artists have gone through that program now.
I love it. So when you moved to New York, I mean, obviously you have to have a strong growth mindset just to pick up from a small town, go all the way to New York. How quickly did you find a job and what did you do to, make ends meet?
I was so young at that time, I wasn't old enough to work. So my parents had helped my sister go to college and my brother who he went to school for a while and they had helped him. So they said, if you want us to help you in New York for this period of time, we're going to consider this as your college and this is what we'll help you with. And then at a certain point, I mean, this has been a long journey. So I ended up getting several jobs, but yeah, that's how it started.
Okay, so you move to LA with ambitions of did you have a demo when you moved to LA? And I know you do everything from recording, producing, writing. I want to hear the creation of that album, and then obviously the visuals. There's no joke in what you do with your production of music videos, very high end everything. So let us know how you do it all.
So after New York, I had a team in New York. They had sort of discovered me in Michigan, and that's why I went out there. So I was working in the studio quite a bit there, and then the team transferred to LA, so I came to LA as well. I was in and out of so many deals, just lots and lots of ups and downs, very like rough journey, just signed, dropped, many changes of people around me, which is kind of
All right,
normal.
coming right now.
Oh,
You're good. Keep going.
okay.
Oops, hold on. I'm sorry. I muted you by accident. Hold on.
That's all right.
Yep, you're in. There you go. You're good.
Yeah, I went through several different teams, several different management teams and labels and stuff. And I've ended up putting out 4 albums now. I call them mixtapes. I don't technically consider them albums, but there are 10 songs each, and then several singles. And I'm rolling out an album right now. So I'm in my second release of my album that I'm currently rolling out. So
And
lots of music.
so on this new album, are you producing, writing the whole 9 yards, and what are you doing for distribution?
This album I did not produce. I worked with a phenomenal producer who's a million times more talented than I am, which is always the goal. But I did write the whole album by myself, and that was important to me because I felt like I had a lot to say this time around. I didn't really want to co-write. So I'm very proud of the album. I think it's phenomenal. It's a dance record, and it's all my albums are based around characters. So they're themed around gemstones, which are also characters, and there's a whole entire like universe that I built around it. So there's Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire, and then this is our villain project, and she's called Black Diamond. So that's the character that I'm in right now, and she's insane and so much fun. So the project is also called Black Diamond. I forgot the question. Oh, how am I distributing it?
Yeah.
For this one, I decided that I wanted to try partnering with someone else. So I'm partnered with Sony and The Orchard and a label called Independent, and they're doing a really great job. I'm really happy with them so far. And it's great to have some more people that have my back. It definitely helps.
Okay. And obviously, if you follow you on social media, the evil villain character walking around with the spikes and the black hair, um, do you think of all of this as you're creating the music? I mean, like everything kind of goes together. It's very well organized and well planned. I'm curious how that comes about.
A great question. So I created the album from the POV of the villain because we've already written the comic and the animated series and stuff. So I know her backstory and I know the character very well. So I knew kind of the stuff that she would want to say. And it was also, I had a lot of rage that I wanted to heal. And I thought it would be a fun way to get it out would be as like a super villain. So that was my emotional intention. And then I realized that we have to find a way to make it connect on social media. And I didn't want to be such a dark villain that it wasn't relatable. Like I think she's really funny. So I wanted to create performance art around it, which we've done and are continuing to do. And the performance art is just a blast. Like it's so much fun getting people's reactions and seeing how she enrages and delights people. Like it's really a blast.
I love it. So you also have a lot of dance when you perform. Did you study dance?
No, I'm a very new dancer. I just started learning to dance. I have autism, so dancing is harder for me than a lot of regular people. It's hard for me to replicate movements, and communication can be hard for me, understanding what I'm supposed to do and how. So it's been extra challenging, but it's also really good for me, I think, to be bad at something and have to work really hard at it. So yeah, it's been fun.
Let's talk about the autism diagnosis. I know that is something that was rather new.
Yes.
Um, Talk me through. Did you, when you were younger, did you feel different? And I say different like that because I think we're all somewhere on that spectrum. But kind of talk me through that, being a kid, going through as a female with autism.
I think for me, it was a lot of just feeling like everyone is hiding things. There's like a lack of honesty. There's a lack of clarity. I felt like a lot of authority figures didn't like me, and I couldn't understand why. I was never part of a group for more than a very short time before I was rejected from the group, and I never understood why, and I never got answers of why, and that was very hard for me and very discouraging. And I just was like, I felt like I was constantly doing things wrong, but I didn't know why, even though I had very good intentions, and I felt like I'm a pretty moral person. So that was very frustrating for me. But it's affected my life in every single way. So that's just like the big easy way to explain it. It's just a lot of rejection and a lot of confusion.
Okay. And you mentioned, I'm going to go with that rejection and the up and downs, which you mentioned earlier. I obviously an independent artist has to believe in themselves, but beyond believing in themselves, you have to be resilient. Talk me through how important resiliency has been to your success.
Sure, I know like a lot of really talented people that have no grit. And grit is a way more important component, at least in the music industry, than talent. Like it doesn't even matter at the end of the day to industry people how talented you are. All they care about is, can you make money? And in order to put yourself in a position where you can make money, you have to build something that is very difficult to build. And we're not really in the early 2000s anymore, or the 90s, where someone just comes in and rescues you on a white horse and sets you on top of the world. You really have to build and hustle and face a million doors slamming in your face all day long. So being able to bounce back is huge. It's everything.
Let me ask you, what about constructive criticism? You mentioned like the person just coming to save the day and make you a megastar. Um, is there, like, when people give you feedback, do you take that in? Uh, did you go, I'm going to stick to my vision and what I want to do, getting signed, not signed, signed, not signed, doing it independently? Did you take anything from that constructive criticism?
I think the key word is constructive, and you have to be discerning of if it really is constructive criticism or if it's someone just trying to project their vision onto you because they don't respect your vision. So it took me a long time to discern between those two things. I think it's important to be able to listen to criticism and then have the humility to consider if it's true or not, and also have this balance of humility and confidence to know, like, sometimes they're wrong. Most of the time, if it goes against your intuition, they're probably not correct. But I try to not take advice that's unsolicited, and I try to not take advice from people who haven't accomplished something that I want. And that seems to really separate it easily for me so that I kind of know who to ignore and who to listen to.
I love that. Talk me through mentorship. Is there someone that comes to mind when I say a mentor? And a mentor can be in all different aspects of our life in different time periods. Someone come to mind as a mentor for you.
I think I've had lots of mentors. I've had lots of managers that had a lot of wisdom that I was able to gain. I've had a lot of great people who were willing to sit and have lunch with me and answer my questions and teach me things. I'm learning with mentorship, like, a lot of times people want to share their wisdom and they want to talk about their experiences. So if you just create the open space for them to do that, even if you have to pay them for their time, I think it is worth it for sure if it's the right people.
Okay, let's talk about music videos. I mentioned earlier, you really have some solid visuals with all of the music. How did you put together your team for the visuals? I mean, you've got green screen, you've got special effects, the whole nine yards. Talk me through putting together that team.
So I'm self-funded. I have a creative partner who does all my visuals for social media, all my filming, all my music videos. And we've been working together for 10 years, and he's phenomenally gifted and very creative. But we do everything on a shoestring budget and we both do millions of jobs every time. So I'm definitely not the artist that, like, rolls in, shoots, and leaves. We're like doing absolutely everything from carrying the equipment to planning every lighting, every shot, every angle. Like, it's a lot of work, but I do believe that visuals are a huge part of my artistry, so it's definitely worth it.
I love it. Um, what advice would you give for an individual that wants to get into the music industry?
It depends if it's as an artist or as a more on the business side.
Talk me on both sides.
Okay, as an artist, I would just say decide now how long you're willing to grind for without seeing any success, and make that commitment to yourself because it's a long road, and enjoy the journey because there's nothing up ahead that's going to bring you more joy than there is in this moment. I think that sometimes we assume, like, oh, when I play the arena, when I open for this person, when I have the smash, like, I'm going to be so much happier. And I'm finding accomplishments don't make you, they can't give you joy that you can't get from going on a walk with some birds and the ocean next to you. Like, that's the most beautiful thing in life. And, like, accomplishments are great, but it's honestly going to add more stress to your plate and more challenges to your plate. And, like, it's hard to have that many people judge you. And I think people don't think through that side of it when they're setting their goals. So it's very important to enjoy the journey and like have fun and be enjoying the creative process. If you don't love the process, don't do it. Because if you're just doing it for the outcomes, it's a very long road till you get there.
Okay.
Um,
And advice for the person that wants to be behind the scenes, the manager, the agent, anything within behind the scenes.
Well, I've never done that job, but I would say, like, as an artist, I always appreciate people who are empathetic, and I'm always going to work with people who make me feel safe and heard and appreciated. And I think that's very underrated. I think a lot of times in music, um, the business side doesn't care about what the artist cares about, which is usually the humanity and the connection and like trying to share a message. And if they want to work with an artist, they should try to understand what the artist's motivations are.
Okay. Um, Talk me through how important networking has been to the success of your career.
Networking is very difficult for me because have a lot of social anxiety. So I'm not the girly that goes out to all the parties and all that stuff. I'm also ranked in the ninth percentile socially, which means 91% of people have better social skills than I do, according to the doctor. But I don't let that limit me. I don't allow myself to think of that as a limit, but I also take that into consideration of maybe why it's a little bit harder for me to network. So for me, I'm more of the type that like I will just put my head down and get the work done and try to let the work speak for itself. But networking, if you can handle it, is everything. And people that network usually get much further, much faster than people like me who don't.
You're getting where you need to go in just the right time. I want to ask, how do you balance a successful career and your personal life? When do you shut off the musician, the producer, the character, the grit to just be Emma?
I'm really horrible at that. I don't do it. I don't even know if it's possible to do it and be successful. I don't know. I don't really have the limit because even when I'm in my personal lifetime, I'm itching to create and I'm thinking about the next thing I'm going to make and I'm getting inspired. So it never really turns off for me. I think it is important though to keep goals in perspective, like I was saying earlier, because I'm so driven and so ambitious that sometimes I lose sight of what actually matters, which is like, does this make me happy? And am I proud of it? So I've been a lot more focused on the joy in the work instead of like hounding myself to be perfect all the time. And that's helped me a lot.
Okay, I love it. Let's talk about the fact that you can write music, you can sing, you can mix it, master it. Those are all, a jack of trades. I don't know what the expression is, and a jack of none. You do it all and you do it well. Where did you learn to master music? Where did you learn to be behind the board? Talk me, how did that happen?
Pretty much all the extra stuff beyond performing that I've learned to do has been out of necessity. And as soon as I was able to outsource the things that I didn't enjoy, I have outsourced those things. But I just don't believe in limits. Like I really don't believe that anyone is limited to not be able to learn something, especially with Google and YouTube. Like you can learn everything. And even if my mastering and mixing wasn't as strong as, the phenomenal people I work with now, like it got me to the next step and that's all that matters.
Okay, perfect. Is there a mantra that keeps you positive or something that you say daily?
I do a lot of affirmations because it really helps me stay in a positive mindset. But something I think about a lot is like the phrase, what would you do if you weren't afraid? I think that that's really important. Another one I use a lot is like, you're doing great. I have those sticky notes all over my house, like, you're doing great. Relax, you're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing enough. And I think those help me a lot.
Okay. Biggest career advice you would give to a younger Emma?
To myself, I would say everything you need is in you and you can trust your intuition. I think I spent a lot of my time looking for outward validation from humans and people in the music industry to tell me if I was good enough or what I had to do to be good enough, or I felt like accomplishing things was going to give me a sense of worth. And those are all things that I already had in me.
Love it. How do you measure success?
Oh, that's hard. It's really hard because I have huge goals. And I always feel like I'm falling short because I look at everything as like, what is my potential? And then I'm always measuring against that. So I try, I'm trying to love myself better. And yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one. I guess success for me, I'm already very successful because like based on some of the things that I've been through and my mental health challenges and stuff, like I shouldn't even be here. So for me to even exist is such a win for me. Everything beyond that is just a bonus. And that helps me kind of, those are my top and my bottom, if that makes sense.
Okay. And obviously you manifest what you are doing right now. What is the, and I don't want to say a limit, but you said, you see these very high aspirations. What does that look like for you?
I want to be the kind of artist that can sell out SoFi multiple nights in a row. Like I want to be a stadium artist, and I feel that I absolutely have that potential, and I feel that I could perform till I'm 80 years old, and um, I think that that's it's a very to some people that seems lofty, but if you zoom out everyone will be probably forgotten like 4 generations from now. So it's not that big of a thing when I zoom out, if that makes sense. I try to think of it from out like a larger perspective. Like it's not as big of a goal as it seems. And that kind of helps me keep things in perspective.
I love it. So in Yes I Can, we always see the ability that's attached to the disability. Would you say that autism in a way has helped you with your music and your expression?
I think I would not be making music if I didn't feel other my whole life because it's part of how I heal. Like, and if I was like everyone else, I wouldn't have needed music.
Okay.
So yeah.
Talk me through Flipagram, being part of the development of that.
I think they probably gave you an old bio because that was in 2016. So that
Okay.
app is dead and gone. It's actually been replaced by TikTok. It was like TikTok's main competitor. And then TikTok ended up beating it out by this much. And now it's the biggest thing in the world. It's pretty cool.
So you've been on the cusp of a lot of things. What other things have I not included in your bio, as I probably have an outdated one?
I mean, I think I mentioned the big stuff. Like I put out a lot of projects and I'm really proud of them. I think they're doing some great things. So
Okay. Uh, Collaboration. If you could collaborate with anyone, who would that be?
uh right now I've been thinking a lot about Beyonce. I would love to work with her someday.
Okay. And you kind of seem like an artist that sees trends and how things are moving. You mentioned this album is very electronic. What do you foresee the music industry going to next?
Sound wise,
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not the best with knowing like what's the next thing, but I do know that as an artist, for anyone listening, like it's really important. Um, it might make your journey a little bit harder if you're trying to set the next trend, but if you can be the artist that sets the next trend instead of following what's already cool, um, you'll be a household name. And I think it's harder to do, and it's harder to find people that will believe in the next thing instead of recreating the thing that already exists. But it's absolutely worth the hustle. I hope that helps somebody.
I love it. You're so on point. Obviously, looking back on your journey so far, and you're someone who appreciates the journey and the road. You've had a lot of accomplishments. Out of those accomplishments, what are you most proud of?
I'm the most proud of my mental health glow up because I had a lot of mental health challenges, and I think I've come such a long way in just learning how to think and learning how to manage my negative thoughts and my sort of shadow side.
And I'm very, very proud of that because that's been so much work behind the scenes that no one will ever know about. I guess as far as like outer validation type accomplishments, um, I became a millionaire in my 20s, and I think that that's something to be proud of.
Absolutely. Not too many people can say that. I have a question for you, my last one, and then um, we're gonna let you go back to creating. Um, I have no doubt that you are going to just continue to go to the stars and be a superstar. Can we have your word that you will play the Good Karma Festival, even if you are already on SoFi Stadium and on that plateau?
You have my word. I hope that I get to that point and can add some value. That'd be great.
You add value. I
Thank
want to thank you again for joining us tonight. Obviously, our individuals are inspired. They can see what grit does, what hard work does, what happens when you appreciate the journey, when you appreciate the road, when you are resilient, understanding that there's going to be ups and downs. You cannot give up. You've got to bet on yourself, and there's no one who is going to do it for you. You have to continue grind and be consistent. I love that you mentioned that. You're adaptable. You can go in so many different directions. I just want to wish you continued success, good health, keep grinding, and just know everyone here at Yes I Can, we are extremely proud of you, and we look forward just to continuing to watch you grow.
Thank you so much. And if you guys have more questions, please shoot me a DM. I would be happy to answer anything I can. Thank you so much.
Perfect. On that note, I want to thank everyone for joining us on Breaking the Biz podcast.
As we conclude another enriching episode, we hope you found inspiration in the stories shared today. Let's take a moment to honor Yes I Can's role in bringing Breaking the Biz to life. Yes I Can's commitment to empowering young people with disabilities through education, advocacy, and mentorship shines brightly, paving paths of opportunity and dialogue. This podcast celebrates the organization's dedication to nurturing talent and facilitating impactful discussions. Breaking the Biz is more than a podcast. It's a part of Yes I Can's broader mission to amplify voices, dismantle barriers, and craft a world that's more inclusive and accessible for everyone. Each episode is a chapter in our shared narrative of progress, education, and empowerment, driven by the spirit of Yes I Can. Thank you for spending your time with us on Breaking the Biz. Continue to challenge the status quo and share stories that resonate. Until our paths cross again, let's keep transforming aspirations into achievements and infuse every endeavor with optimism. Here's to advancing the landscape of the entertainment industry, one episode at a time. I'm your host, William Felber. See you next time.